Have you ever wondered how a habit gets formed in a person? Let's pick a really strange one. Somebody who always throws salt over their left shoulder because they think it'll protect them, keep them safe, and it's lucky. So something happens and they immediately get some salt, and you look at it. Well, this is what I think happens. Somehow they hear about this, they learn about it in some way, and then they remember to do it again and again. They do it because, yes, this will protect me. And eventually, remembering it, celebrating it, actually begins to change them and make them believe something. There's a song, a popular song in our liturgical books, and in it, it's about the Eucharist and about what we do as Eucharistic people. And the refrain says, "We remember, we celebrate, we believe." That's what it says as a community, our activity is. We remember, we celebrate what we remember, and we actually believe what we celebrate. And this builds into our lives, forms us as a people who now believe. I'm 66. I think I have been to every celebration of Holy Week since I was about 8 or 9. I became an altar server. So, about 63 years. Every year, these events have been important in forming me into what I believe. And what could be more amazing than these 3 days, the sacred Triduum? There's so much on our platter tonight this is a sumptuous feast. There's so much, it's impossible. I mean, we need a 3-hour homily. Will anyone stick around for 3 hours with me tonight? 3 hours minimum. Serious. We start the celebration bringing up the oils that have been blessed by the Archbishop for all the parishes in the Archdiocese, 278, I think. For over 1 million Catholics who will be touched, or not maybe every one of those million, but thousands who will be anointed with these oils because of sickness or dying, or because they're being initiated into the church. So that's how we begin. We end the celebration by transferring the Eucharist from the church down to the hall, where it will be in repose until midnight, and people will go there just to be still and quiet, sit in the presence of Jesus for as long as they wish to. Why? Well, it's always a good thing to be in the presence of someone we love and allow their presence to affect us. But it's also wrapped around what happens at the end of this night. The Last Supper, and then Jesus is going to be arrested and tried the next day. So when we finish the service, we will already have left. And a crew of people they call it actually the stripping of the altar. They will strip everything, no candlesticks, no chairs, nothing except what can't be moved. And so when anyone comes back tomorrow, the church will be absolutely bare, well, like a tomb. Just like a tomb, empty. No life. No Eucharist. In the middle, we hear these readings of 2 meals. The first one from the Old Testament, the second one from the New Testament. The first one, the Passover supper. The second one, they're celebrating the Passover supper, which becomes the Last Supper. Both of these suppers, for us, for Jews, are what they call remembering meals. There's a fancy Greek word called anamnesis. Now, it's ironic because the word amnesia comes from anamnesis, and amnesia means to forget, but this word means anamnesis, to remember. But not remember nostalgically, not remember, oh yeah, remember 2,000 years ago this happened? No. It's to bring what happened 2,000 years to the presence of us right now so that it continues to affect us. Now, when Jesus celebrated that Last Supper, he was celebrating the Passover, and it probably was about 1,500 years of Jews doing it. 1,500 years, year after year, they made this the central piece of their year to have this meal and remember how God saved them and all the events of salvation history. That's what Jesus was doing. We do it every week, every day, actually. We gather and remember the death and resurrection of the Lord. We remember, we celebrate, and we believe. And it actually begins to form and shape us as a people, believers who say, we believe in the death and resurrection of the Lord, that it is so incredible an event that happened only once for all time, and because of it, we are saved from sin. We have been liberated. And we can become a people of love. And what was central to that experience of the cross, which you'll hear plenty of tomorrow, is that as Jesus is on the cross, after so much rejection, so much hate, so much injustice, so much suffering, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way, and it's a perfect setup. He should have hated. He should have hated. He should have. But he didn't. With all that rejection, the words that came out of his mouth, Father, forgive them all, they know not what they do. And in the face of so much hatred and injustice and rejection, he was able to love and to forgive. That is the victory of the cross. And that's what's been given to us. We remember, we celebrate, we believe. When we come to the point where we really believe that, this hooks us and comes into our lives and into our hearts and has the potential to make us different people. People who stand up against the hatreds and the many deaths that go on in the world, the many ways of destructiveness, the many ways of destroying. We become a people who believe in the life-giving power of that cross. And so, on this one night, when we celebrate the, if you will, institution, at least we have the words of institution of the Last Supper, this is my body, eat it, this is my blood, drink it. In John's Gospel, only in John's Gospel, Jesus does something extraordinary. He washes the feet of his disciples. Now, before I say something about that, I want to say something completely different in Spanish because I don't like repeating too much. Pero un parte del foco de esta noche es amor. En la primera oración era 3 veces la palabra amor. Y en el Evangelio también. Y amor es central en nuestra fe. Si no estamos amando, no estamos siguiendo a Jesús, claro. Ser cristiano es ser una persona en amor. Yo recuerdo mi parroquia antes de eso en San José en Hawthorne. Era una mujer que tenía un niño, yo creo que tenía 14 años, pero era muy chiquitito. No recuerdo el nombre de su enfermedad, pero estaba incapacitado tremendo. Él era chiquito como tenía 6 años, muy flaco y muy incapacitado. Y ella siempre estaba llevándolo y nunca estaban afuera o parte de él. Yo fui a veces a bendecirlo y ungirlo. Y siempre estuve muy impresionado, movido mi corazón, porque era una relación de puro amor, puro amor. Cada minuto del día de esta mujer estaba dando a este niño que pudiera apreciar mucho su amor, yo no sé qué habilidad tenía mentalmente, estaba muy incapacitado. Pero nunca preventó ella a demostrar su amor y dar un amor total a ella. Y yo pensé cuando yo salí de la casa, muchas veces yo pensé, oh wow, quiero aprender cómo amar como eso. Porque era una situación de una persona que estaba celebrando amor en su vida constantemente siempre. Y transformó a esta mujer en casi puro amor por su hijo. Increíble. Y cuando yo experimenté ella nunca pareció cansada, pero estaba muy presente a su hijo. Y yo creo que una gran parte del mensaje de Jesús, especialmente esta noche, es este tipo de amor. En esta última cena, como estaba explicado en el Evangelio de San Juan, Jesús dio un ejemplo para servir, lavando los pies. Now, I'm going to say that you can already get started, the 12 apostles here who are representing them. They're from all different walks of life here in the parish, different cultures, different ages. And after I wash their feet, most, I think, are going to go back to their place, and the youth, the confirmation group, are going to take over and wash the feet of anyone here who wishes to have their feet washed. Now, this is not a complete washing, so don't worry. This is just a symbolic gesture. So, if you are interested in having your foot washed, not even feet, just one foot, left or right, it's up to you. If at some point you would remove your shoe, and if you have a sock, remove your sock. And what will happen is there's 4 chairs there, 4 chairs there, and 4 here in front. We're going to, after I wash the 12, just the 4 on each side are going to be used. And you'll just come out and get in line and go up, and you'll sit down, put your foot out in the bowl. They'll pour a little drop of water. They'll dry it. You'll get up and move for the next person. We're not trying to recreate something. We're not trying to put on a play. We're not trying to just repeat what was done, because Jesus had a lesson here. And Peter wasn't getting it. First, Peter said, no, you're not going to let you do that to me. Wash my feet. You shouldn't do that. And Jesus said, if you don't let me wash your feet, then you have no part with me. And then he said, okay, well then wash my head and my hands too. He said, no. You took a bath. You don't need that. Because what Jesus was interested in doing was giving an example. Listen. He said, you call me teacher and master, and so I am. A teacher and master did not wash the feet. That was done by servants and slaves. And Jesus, who said so often that we must take the last place if we want to be first. We must die if we want to live. We must let go if we want to receive. And so at this meal, which for us is so central as Catholic Christians, at this meal, the way that he showed love was to get down on his hands and knees and wash the feet of his disciples. And he said, you must do the same. That's what you must do. Learn to be foot washers. And it isn't, I don't think, really just the act. It's we remember, we celebrate, we believe. That we do it, and the more we do it, the more we learn how to serve, the more we serve others, the more we will find that it actually changes our hearts, changes our way of thinking, changes our lives. This is one of the central moments of this night. It's not the most important thing, but it is central in that it is more than just the washing of feet. It's the call to serve and to love. Entonces todos van a estar invitados, después los 12, yo voy a lavar los pies de 12. Todos están invitados a quitar uno de sus patas, si tiene calcetines también, uno nomás, izquierda, derecha, no importa. Y van a sentarse por un momento, van a poner poquito agua y quitarlo con la toalla y van a salir otra. Rápido. Vamos a experimentar esta idea que alguien está sirviendo. Porque este es un llamado por nosotros, que debemos hacer lo mismo. Tenemos que aprender cómo hacer lo mismo. Porque cuando estamos sirviendo, estamos viviendo como Cristo, estamos viviendo como discípulos. So at this time, if those apostles could go to their 12 chairs, and I will be there to meet you in a second to wash your feet. When you finish, if you are not to wash others, you can go back to your seat, and we're handing over to the youth. And I think, for me, this is symbolic too, because we should be the models and teachers as adults. And our children should be learning from us what it means to serve. Entonces estamos lavando los pies de adultos, pero los jóvenes van a continuar después, porque debemos enseñarlos cómo a servir, ellos tienen que aprender. So there's 12 that were appointed, 12 appointed, okay?